Hi everyone. Or sorry, hey, however you want me to say it. Um, so glad to be back. Uh, Now, this is a little early for the interview today, but because my stupid self overplanned myself, I have asked Lex if we can come on early, and luckily they are so wonderful and saved my butt that now you guys all get the interview and like at this time. So lucky for you, right? So we are going to go ahead and get started because I want Lex to have as much time as possible because last time we ran out of time. So let's go ahead and bring the wonderful, the fabulous, non-binary, trans, masculine, Jewish human on in three, two, one.
Hello.
Yay!
How you
I had to
doing?
do I had to do your introduction for you. I love saying it.
I am blushing, which is very obvious, so I appreciate it. I'll always take it. How are
Good,
you doing
good.
today?
I am really good. I feel like such a blonde for forgetting that I we invited a couple people over tonight and it just dawned on me like when about lunchtime I'm sitting here I'm like, hold on. If I have people coming over tonight and I'm making dinner and I have an interview with Lex, no. So
The timing
thank you
doesn't
so
work.
much.
Of
Yeah, thank
course.
you.
It
You are
works out well
such a
for
light.
me because I am definitely more of a human being during the day than at night. So when you said can you do it earlier, I was like, perfect. Can't
Ah,
complain.
well, good. Although then again, I kind of want to see Zombie Lex as well. I think that would
True.
be
That's
fun.
a whole different series. Whole
Yeah,
different
I think
series.
that would be really, really fun. Okay, so
So
let's.
who are we today? What
I
pronouns?
am
What name?
Natasha today.
Okay,
Female pronouns, all that fun stuff.
awesome. Thank you for letting me know.
Of course, dear. Of course. Okay, so before we get started, once again, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, feelings, whatever, you can write them into the comments. Myself and Lex will do our best to read them as we go through. No promises, though. So if we have missed your comment, please just respectfully ask it again, and there's a greater chance. Don't be like, you so rude, you never looked at my comment. No, we ain't doing that. Because if you start doing that, then I'm definitely not answering your comment.
Yes, we must be respectful. And also on that note, for anyone who is enjoying the conversation, has questions, wants to learn more, whatever your reasoning is, feel free to go to my page, DM me, follow my page, comment on pictures, whatever it may be, because that's why I'm here.
Exactly. Same goes for me. Same goes for me. But you guys already all know that. So don't worry. Okay. So last time, if I have to go back in time and I have to remember, we didn't play the game, so we're definitely going to try to play
Ooh,
that today. hmm but we were talking about um, how you kind of came to your understanding of who you are, and the process of you starting to come out to your family and to your friends and all that fun stuff. But today, I want to focus more on what you're doing now.
sure.
Okay, so if you look through Lex's wonderful, wonderful page, you're going to realize that there are tons of pictures of Lex doing modeling and working for different brands and all this fun stuff. So I kind of want you to speak to the modeling as a non-binary trans masculine soul. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about your experiences with that. Has it been positive, negative? What challenges have you had to overcome? What are some of your best memories? Go.
Yes, of course. So for folks who don't know, my name is Lex. I use they, them pronouns and identify as a queer, non-binary, trans-masculine Jewish human. And I am, I love it. Yes, everything. And I am currently working as an LGBTQ plus educator, activist, and model based in Philly. I'm 23 years old, and for pretty much for one of the first times in my life, I had luck. And that luck for me was I had a friend reach out to me in the fall of 2019, so it hasn't even been a year yet. So last
Mm-hmm.
fall, saying, hey, I saw this supermodels putting together a shoot to celebrate transmasculine people. Like, see if this is a good fit. I was like, there's no harm. Like, why not? So I reach out to Christiana, who is just one of the most beautiful, like, souls, and like everything, her energy, everything about her. Definitely look her up. She's incredible. She's a fantastic ally for the trans community. And she was like, yeah, we want you. Like, let's do this thing. So in the fall, I had my first professional photo shoot. And I saw it as, I just get to be fully myself. I can wear makeup. I can do my hair whichever way I want to do it. I can decide to use femme, androgynous, or mask clothes, or a mix. Like, it was up to me, because the campaign, the project, was all about showing not only the range, but just the different ways in which folks can feel like they are their full selves and can express that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so that was my first professional shoot, and at the time, I had truly no idea that it would lead to me working as a professional model. I just, like, did it on a weekend, and I had to do all of my teacher grading and lesson planning, like, when I got back. So it's like, I was very focused on, like, this is a super fun opportunity. I saw it as a way to further pursue my activism, because for me, like, being visible and being unapologetically myself in everyday life, in public, in private, whatever it may be, it's, like, just such a big part of what I understand my activism and my advocacy to be. So, like, being a unapologetic, happy, euphoric, trans, masculine, non-binary person is activism to me. Like, yes, it's photography, it's modeling, it's an art in that sense. I always see modeling as using the human body as a work of art. Like, that's how I interpret modeling. So, like, when I work with different brands or different designers, I'll just say, like, my body is your canvas. Like, you can put whatever clothes you want on me, masculine, feminine, androgynous. Like, I will enjoy any and all of what you decide, because whereas I started seeing modeling as, okay, like, you have the creative director and the producer and the stylist and the photographers and their assistants and all of that. After having that first shoot, I started realizing how much potential there is within modeling as a form of advocacy and activism for me as an out queer, trans, non-binary person. And so I can say that I owe it all to Christiana for, like, providing me that opportunity, for seeing me as the person that I am and wanting to celebrate every single part of me that makes me me. And I'm just so grateful to have had that opportunity. And for those folks who are aware of Refinery 29, they were the folks who published our campaign and published our article. So you can check out the link. I think they called it something along the lines of transmasculine, like, love, transmasculine affirmation. It's on Refinery 29. It's all over the internet on different websites. It's so fun. It's so beautiful. And it was in that space where I didn't feel like I was working. I didn't feel like I was using energy. I truly just felt like I was, like, floating in, like, space and time, and just really, like, feeling all of the energy that was out in the world and that, like, I was adding to. And then having people say, okay, like come over here, it's your turn. And then just being like, all right, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like. It just came to me so naturally. I was like, this is something I want to pursue. This is awesome. Not only one of the most affirming environments and positive environments, but I'm also working to get more non-binary representation, more queer representation, more trans people being seen in the media. Because when I was growing up, we talked about this before, I didn't see anyone that looked like me. Like, I didn't know that non-binary people existed. I didn't know that trans people existed in a way that it wasn't a death sentence, because of all of the negative, like, comments and all of the hate that was coming out of media. And so now I have the privilege of having access to this platform and having, like, a community that is affirming and ready for more content. And I'm like, this is the time that we change that narrative, that we show how beautiful and divine we are as trans people.
Oh, That is so perfect. And speaking as a gender fluid model myself, you're absolutely correct. It's so empowering to just be able to go there and express yourself as art. And
Yes.
like a lot of people are like anybody who like thinks, hey, I want to get into modeling or I want to do stuff with it. They always think, oh, you have to be like Eva Longoria, or you have to be like this just beautiful, beautiful woman, or a ripped male who is just and no, so many photographers. Like for me, I do a lot of the TFP stuff here in Columbus, where I just get with local photographers and I just say, look, whatever you want to do, I'm up for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be male, I'll be female, I'll be androgynous. I don't care. I just like being in front of a camera and being able to smile and looking at the pictures. That's all I care about. However you want to do it is fine with me. And like I got a shoot next week coming up where I'm doing like water shoot. I'm doing one part of it's going to be a bathing suit, of course, because it's sexy. But also a couple other parts are going to be more like underwater and kind of like mythical kind of themes to it, is what I've kind of interpreted. So
I
it's
will
going to
be
be
there.
really.
I will be. I'm like, you'll jump into the water, like you'll just dive into the water, and I'll be like, I'm there, I'm ready, hi.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Please do.
That sounds so lovely.
Yeah, but it's really not that hard to get into, as long as, I mean, you're just willing to put in a little time and effort into it,
Yeah.
with it yourself. So
Yeah.
I really
then,
like hearing that even professionally, that how you were able to get into it.
Yeah, and the wildest thing for me is that I didn't plan it, I didn't seek it out, and it took me months, and even still right now, it's hard for me to actually call myself a model as like one of my jobs. And I think it's because I have a lot of internalized messages and feelings and emotions about what people expected of me and who I was told I was. So that's difficult for me to see who I actually am in the moment. Because like when I was growing up, my sister and I were only 11 months apart. She's my best friend, and she just graduated from undergrad. So go, my sister!
Yay!
And so growing up with Liv, she's 11 months younger than me. Somehow she is like practically a foot taller than me. Like there's just like all of these, like we are very different people. But so I grew up as a short, muscular built human, and I grew up next to someone who was tall, like thin, like aligned with more of the like traditional societal ideals of beauty. So even though we both had our hair down to our waist and we would both like would wear makeup because I was told at certain points in my life that was something I had to do, I felt like I was always looked over. Like people would always go to my sister like, oh my gosh, your hair's so beautiful. And I'd be like, I have the same fucking hair. Like what the hell? Like I like that still sticks with me. That like every time that I would be with my sister in public or even in like private settings, I was overlooked, I was invisible, and I wasn't beautiful enough. Like that's the messages that I received. Like the number of times that we were in the mall that like Liv was stopped by like model recruiters, like the people that are like pretty much just like trying to like make you buy headshots or whatever it is. But the point being was like they sought her out as being beautiful when I was standing right there and they didn't say anything to me. And so after having all of those experiences, and then actually being in the professional modeling world, I have this block in my head that is preventing me from saying that I'm a professional model. And that's something that I'm working on because I am a model.
Yes,
that is something that I need to be proud of and carry with me and not let anyone take that away from me or decide when I can or cannot use that title. Because it's something that I have worked so hard on to see myself the way that I am seen by others now. And to be unapologetically perfectly unperfect, like that is like how I want to live my life. And so for folks who want to get into modeling, like Natasha was just saying, it is about having a fire within you. It has more to do with your energy and your ability to put yourself out there and to demand things or make things known about yourself to reach out to brands who you're interested in working with, to email or text that person that you met at a conference. It's truly about, do you have that energy? Do you have that fire to push yourself forward? And if you do, then it's all about networking. It's about who you know, which friends you know who may be in music or fashion or even some forms of education or nonprofits. It's truly about, like, who do you know who knows a photographer? Who do you know who is a photographer? Who do you know who writes freelance for blogs? Maybe those folks who are working for those organizations are also looking for models for their Pride campaign. It's truly, you have to dig, you have to reach out, you have to DM, you have to email, you have to have a portfolio. It can be something super basic. So for instance, like, this is the wall of my porch and I took down a clock and I made it a plain background. Like, I'm just casually talking with my pal here, but like, I made sure that like my setting was clear and that like I was the focus. And that's pretty much all you need to do for a portfolio. You need a full body, head to toe, side profile, mid to head, headshot. And if you have a plain background, they want to see things as basic as, how is your body a human canvas? What could we do? How could we work with what you're giving us? So if you want to do a portfolio shoot, you can do a DIY at home, and just keep in mind that they want plain, they want to see all that you have to offer in all of its beauty. And if you have, I mean, obviously quarantine makes things extremely difficult, but if you are looking for queer photographers, like, reach out to the community groups, whether that's on Instagram or Facebook, or maybe, you know, through Zoom. I have no idea. Technology is constantly changing these days with how we can connect with community. But reach out to communities. Say, anyone know a trans photographer or a queer photographer? Because we should also be keeping this within the queer community. When I grow, I want to grow with my community. I do not want to leave anyone behind. And I sure as hell, when I have the opportunity and the power to do so, I'm going to keep my money within the queer community. So if I'm going to do a shoot, I'm going to get a queer or trans photographer, because that's something that I can do. It's something I need, and there are plenty of queer trans photographers. So that was just like 1,000 different tips that probably came out way too fast, but hopefully we're a little bit helpful. And if y'all are looking for queer photographers or marketing folks or whatever it may be, like, please reach out to me, because I have so many friends who are just, goddamn, where did they come from with their ability to create and to show us at our best. Reach out to me. I can connect y'all.
Perfect. And like I said, it's how much you're willing to put in there. Just sending one message on a photography group saying, "Hi, I would like to model," ain't gonna do it. That's not gonna do it. You got to put yourself out there. You have to put in some work to be able to do it, but it's so rewarding when you get those photos back and you see yourself, and it's just, photographers have the perfect eye of capturing every bit of beauty about yourself. I love it.
Yes. And the other thing that you just reminded me of is that it's also every action or decision that you make sure that it is purposeful and that you have planned ahead. So if you want to send a message, don't just casually write out like, "Hi, I wanted to introduce myself, blah, blah, blah." Like, have a message where you're saying, "Hi, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I love about your work. I wanted to like share my website or my Facebook or whatever it may be, my email. Here's my portfolio, or here are some pictures of my work. Would love to hear about potential collaboration opportunities." You have to make it as personable to yourself so that they see you as the unique individual that you are, but also specific, because you don't want them to be constantly asking you for more information, because if you can just provide them with everything that they need and they see, oh, this person has that fire within them. Oh, look at the work that they've already put in. Okay, like, I'm feeling this for our brand. Or even if they look at all of your work that you've done and they said, "Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Maybe you're not the best fit for our brand, but check out this brand." Or maybe reach out to us in 6 months when we have a new line coming out that's more aligned with like your style. The worst thing that you can do is allow your fear of rejection to stop you from pursuing your dreams.
Damn straight. Damn straight. Love it. Love it. Ah, that's so awesome to hear. Now, this might be a little personal, but I do want to talk about it. So if it's too much, just let me know.
Yeah. Oh, wait, before you dive in, is it still about modeling or is it slightly different?
Both.
Okay. Can I insert one quick comment?
One.
Fine. You've limited me. I can do it. Another opportunity that I would love to share with everyone is that there is a modeling competition called Model Hunt. And it's the world's, the international, most diverse model search in the world. And so through Model Hunt, you can submit an application to be a part of the competition. And drumroll, I'm a finalist this year. Woo! And I am so happy. I didn't know about the opportunity. I was told by one of the designers and the modeling groups / crews that I'm in that was an opportunity available. I applied. I got in. And so I want more trans folks to know that that is an opportunity available. You do not have to know anything about modeling or have any training. I have never had model training. I walked in New York Fashion Week without having ever walked a runway or practiced a runway walk. Like, you do not have to have any type of formal training because especially at like everything in life, especially in things that require point blank money, right? Portfolio, clothes, makeup, hair, like all of those things cost money. So there are ways in which there are competitions and opportunities to enter the industry that don't necessarily require you to spend your way into it. And so this is another opportunity. It is in LA, and they have a bunch of different categories for folks like mature, teens, people with disabilities. They have like a trans specific category. They have edgy, which is like tattoos and piercings. So they have so many different ways in which you can engage in the fashion industry. And when you're accepted into this competition, they train you. They provide you with multiple different trainings. They give you different shoots and they teach you the ways. So that is something I would love for everyone to look into, Model Hunt.
Perfect.
And then also if you want to come to LA and
oh
cheer
my
me on,
gosh.
I have tickets.
Okay. You snuck that in that last little bit there, huh?
I did. I turned my 1 point into like 15 again.
Yeah, you did. You're very talented in that way. So what I want to discuss is in a lot of your photography shoots, whether it's professional or non-professional, you show something that most people never show, and that is from the top surgery, these scars that you have from that. Talk to me about why you show that when so many transmasculine people fear to show that.
Yeah. Wow. Honestly, I just didn't even realize that I was doing that more than other people, because for me, having top surgery and then also feeling the effects of testosterone and masculinizing my body was the first time that I felt free. Like, not only physically, but mentally. And quite honestly, mentally was more important than physically. Because as someone who has struggled with mental health for my entire life, when I came out as trans, I was coming up against very real, very different issues that I had no idea how to address or what they would look like or how I could alleviate that pain and that suffering. And so a lot of times what that pain and that suffering looked like for me is what folks would refer to as dysphoria. So it's such an intense or deep discomfort or pain associated with folks either placing wrong assumptions about your identity, about your body, about your sex, about your sexuality, whatever it may be, onto you. That's one way of describing dysphoria. There's so many different ways. And so for me, anytime I was in public, and even a lot of times when I was in private because of roommates or whatever the situation may be, I was misgendered and I felt so so like dehumanized and unseen and depressed, this deeply unhappy. Not with myself. I was so happy and so proud of myself for figuring out and discovering the ways in which I knew I wanted to be and the things that I desired. So for me, when society, others, that external world finally started reading me as masculine, although yes, a lot of times, especially more recently, folks are misreading me as a man, and I identify as non-binary. When folks finally started seeing me as masculine, the entire mental conversation that would take over my mind in any instance when I was in public, the person I was walking by, oh, like, did they see I was wearing a binder? Or, oh, like, did they think my face is feminine? Or, oh, did they just call me ma'am? Or did they just call me sir? Or waiting in line at the grocery store, like, oh, please, for the love of God, don't call me ma'am or miss or any of, like, the talk that happened in my head was the worst. It was so difficult to live my everyday life with those fears, with those anxieties, with those concerns, with the threats that I was experiencing from others. And so when I finally started to be seen as having a flat chest and like being masculine, I realized that those thoughts started to disappear. Those thoughts weren't as present. Those thoughts weren't the basis of my everyday life anymore.
Yay.
And that was the most beautiful thing for me. And a big part of that was the fact that I didn't have to worry about having a bulge on my chest. I didn't have to worry about having protruding titties or any of that stuff. Because that was one of my fears, was that people would wrongly assume that because I had a feminine chest that I was a woman. And I would always ask myself, like, if we were in a society where breasts weren't associated with women and penises weren't associated with men, because that is our way of gendering sex when sex is not gendered. So the language that I'm using is purposely not correct, which can be very confusing. But when we live in that society, I wondered, like, if we had a narrative where people had an assigned sex at birth that wasn't associated with what that person's gender was, or with what their expression is, or what they desire in their world, whether that's sexuality or their own gender or their desires for other people and like how they find their attraction, would I even have needed to get top surgery? Would I have even needed to take testosterone? And the answer is no. It is likely that I would have been perfectly content with having breasts, with having feminine features, if we lived in a society that wouldn't wrongly identify me as a gender or an identity or a sex or a sexuality that I wasn't, based on those wrong assumptions. But sadly, that is our situation. And unfortunately, I don't necessarily see that changing to the greatest extent that I just explained during my lifetime. So then it was a matter of, okay, yes, like theoretically, you wouldn't need to have top surgery, you wouldn't need to take testosterone to be yourself, to feel authentic, to be free. But in our current society, if that's not the case, you need to do something for you. You have to leave that hypothetical, you have to leave that theoretical, and you need to do what's best for you. So what is that going to look like? Well, I want to be seen and I want to be recognized as the masculine person with feminine energy that I am. Okay, so what are the steps to be taken for that? Well, I could medically transition, I could socially transition, I can legally transition. Doing one or all three doesn't make someone trans, folks. Please dismantle this myth. You do not need medicalization to be trans. You do not need to socially change your appearance to be trans. You do not need to legally change anything to be trans. That is false. If you don't believe me, well, let's have a conversation, because I will explain it to you. And so for me,
I love it.
Because I had the absolute privilege of having top surgery, having access to a surgeon, having access to have testosterone, I would run around without my shirt in every single place, public, private, school, like anything, because I'm just so thankful to have my body be the way it is now. And for me, that means I wear tank tops 99% of the time, because I want to be able to see my little nipple through the shirt. I want to be able to like see my scars. The fact that I have a flat chest, the fact that my chest is not perfect, and it doesn't need to be perfect for it to be perfect for me, right? Like, what does this idea of perfect even like mean or look like? So when I'm taking pictures, I feel my most comfortable. I feel the most connected to myself when I have my scars showing, when I am sharing that part of myself with the world, because it's something that I feel like was stolen from me. Had I had the language of understanding queer identity, trans identity, had I had access to medical providers or the financial means that I needed to have access to all these things sooner, I could have lived in my beautiful body the way it is sooner. Now, obviously, that wasn't the case, and I'm not someone who says, oh, well, it could have been this, or I wish it was that. But the fact that now I am me, I'm not going to waste another goddamn second. If I want to walk around without my shirt on, if I want to post pictures of this nip and then compare it to this nip because they related, but they sure ain't twins.
They never
identical.
are. Nope, not one bit. Oh, that's so empowering. That's so empowering. I mean, because why I asked this question was because for a lot of people, looking at showing the scars like that is almost dysphoric, because it's showing someone that previously they were how the other, like, were misgendered for a lot of their life, or had to go through all that transition to finally become who they are. And so many people just want to be who they are and be that one gender or that one person who they are. And for you to show it off and be like, look, I'm proud of who I am. I'm going to put makeup on it. I'm going to put glitter on them. I'm going to just be who I am. It's so empowering for so many people to look at that and say, yes, not only is Lex finally happy with who they are, but they're proud of how they got here. That's the big thing there. You're showing how proud you are of the steps you had to take, everything you had to do to be who you are today. I love it. It inspires me so much.
Thank you.
And every time I see them.
Yes, that makes me so happy. And I also want to note that the fact that I'm able to like publicly display my scars, whether it's social media or walking on the beach or whatever it may be, is also a form of privilege, because I don't have to worry about there's just like so many different ways to describe this. So for instance, having family support. So I know that like if I could be interpreted as visibly trans, which that language isn't great. I don't like it, but for the lack of better words, we're going to use it. So as someone who people would assume to be a cis man based on little whatever the heck is happening to my facial hair and my deeper voice and the masculinization of my body and the fact that I have a flat chest. But then if they see the scars on my chest, or they see a potential lack of a bulge or whatever it may be, that could make me, if I either needed to be stealth or I wasn't out or whatever the thing was, could put me in danger, right? Just the sign of my scars. And so that's not saying that I'm not ever in physical danger while I am visible. Like, I know that that is an absolute real threat, but I also know that the places that I'm in, such as like family vacations on the beach with my parents in like an old farts part of Florida, although they may be conservative and not necessarily supportive of queer people, my safety is likely higher than folks who want to run in the field or play basketball shirtless or wherever it may be in the deep south or in a different country that doesn't even legally recognize queer couples or transgender people. And so just like, I always like to bring that like awareness of like my visibility is a privilege. It is something I do not take for granted. And it's something that like I use in my activism because it is a privilege, like to be able to show that like this is me. And if you relate to anything that I'm saying or any part of my story, then like have hope, have faith, because this can be you too.
Exactly. That's where I get to it. It's so inspiring to see that, and because that's exactly right. While people might not be in the same situation that you are in right now, it's so empowering to see, to look at you and say, there's someone that I can emulate. There is someone right there who's doing it all, who is a model, who is not afraid to show off every bit about them. Like, there's someone who has complete acceptance of who they are. That's what I want to strive for. That's the biggest thing. We need people to be able to look up to, and we need people to be able to strive for. And I mean, even myself, I've been gender fluid since December of 2018 is when I came out. And like, I hate how I just said that. I've been out since December of 18. I've been gender fluid all my life. But
Love it. Whichever way you want to say it, it's yours.
yeah, but the big thing, when I came out, there wasn't, gender fluid was just starting. And it's weird to think about that. 2018, gender fluid was just starting. And like, unfortunately, I didn't have these models to, like, these people to be able to look up to and say, oh, look, there's someone who truly accepts themselves as gender fluid. And I've had to create my own path. So I'm so glad that people like you, people like me, there's so many people out there now that are being like, look, here it is, fully out, fully accept myself. Look how awesome I am. This will be you. It will be you. It won't, you will be at where I am.
Yes. And I love the language that you used about, oh Lord, of course I just lost it because I started reading Zoe's fantastic comment. But the idea that not only that there is hope, but that we didn't have access to examples or role models, images or writings or any form of representation, whether that was like a visual or a written or like hearing someone on the news. Like, there was nothing that I had access to. And oh, there it is, making our own path. That was the language you used. Because, and I think we talked about this before, or I talked about it plenty of times, so I'm sure
probably
it's come up, right? But this idea that when commonly with the misconception that to be trans, you have to medicalize your body, which we know is false. But for many folks, medicalization is a way to feel euphoric and to feel affirmed in our bodies, which is 100% valid. So in that vein,
I want to say that the medical transition is just a way of helping someone with dysphoria get to that euphoric state. It is not something that is needed, and that's why I hate a lot of these states that are like, well, you can't change the assigned gender or assigned sex at birth on your license until you've had the medical transition. That's so wrong. Some people don't want to go through that. Some people don't want to do that. Like for me, I never want to. I avoid surgery at all cost. I don't want to have surgery. I fear going under. I fear what that is, and so I don't want to ever do that. And so for someone to say, "Oh well, sorry, you're just pretending until you have the medical transition," is crap. Nobody has to. You do not have to if you do not want to.
Yes, absolutely. And that's oh God, it's such a awful real life example of how government, so like legalization, medicalization, and socialization are all connected. Like they say that they are separate little, like, oh, the government will do this, and like the medical industry will do this, and the social concept of society will do this. But in reality, all three work together in the deep depths of hell to make life difficult for us. Because the ways in which legal, social, and medical realms work is that they were traditionally withheld according to traditional family hierarchies and values, right? That's like why, like legally, to own land in the United States, you had to be married to a man. So then, like, you like had to have all of these things, and so we are dealing with the negative repercussions of our social construction of what does, like, who is more highly valued in society, who deserves medical treatment, who has access to those things. Like, all of those things are socially constructed by our past colonialists, messed up people. And so thank you for thank you for saying that. Like, you do not need medicalization. You do not need, like, for me, cutting my hair was probably the biggest part of my transition. And that I locate as being a part of my social transition. But I also have been loving whatever the heck is happening to the mop on top of my head. So, like, if I wanted to grow it out and have beautiful long locks, you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna do that if I want to. Because if I have long hair, that doesn't make me a specific gender or a specific
it doesn't make you
presentation.
feminine, it doesn't make you masculine, it just makes you you.
Sorry, I just got an email from my lawyer who I've been waiting to hear from about my legal name and gender change, and they finally put it through because it's been on hold since March.
Holy crap, yay! Oh, wow.
My God.
As we're just talking about that, it was fate.
Oh my God, I hope.
Okay, so while you have your little freak out real quick, I'm going to say, just because this one, this account popped up, for anybody who's like listening to this and about the medical, like the medical stuff and like having to go through that, if you're not one of those and you're male to female, or you're doing any type of that stuff, there's a wonderful, wonderful company called Unclockable. They were just on here just a second ago. Maddie, she runs the company.
Yes, Maddie.
It is, her company is so incredible. They create a tucking product that helps you to feel so euphoric while not having to go through any type of surgery. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't, taking
That's big.
It's, yeah,
Comfort.
it is. I got the pack right here.
Yeah.
It's just a like a KT tape. That's all it is. You just stick it on there. That's it. It's so comfortable. And yeah, so if you are someone that's thinking like that and thinking, well, I don't want to go through surgery, but I need something to help me feel more euphoric, especially with that member down there, Maddie has made it for you. So that Unclockable, it's Unclockable You on Instagram, but definitely go check them out. I think, Maddie, you'll have to, because I see your comments, and you'll have to tell me if I'm incorrect here. I think you get a discount if you use my name. I don't know. I don't really know. But if you do, awesome. I think it's like $5 off or something. I don't know. I don't care for that.
Yay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout her out. She does wonderful things. I did do an interview with her almost a month ago, so you guys can go back on my page and find that too. But
yeah.
Okay.
Also,
we are coming up on the clock.
I'm gonna do a quick plug too for folks who so I have four different urgent language. Okay, we're resetting. I have 4 different urgent need community programs. One is a starter packer program for folks who've never had a packer. One is a starter binder program for folks who don't have access to binders. Another is a mentoring program, like getting to know you, sharing what I know, just like supporting you. And another is a gender affirming clothing program. And all of my programs are called urgent need for the very reason that the folks who are eligible for my programs are folks who are financially unable to purchase those gender affirming products themselves, who may be in unsafe or unsupportive homes, families, or communities, who are either not out or stealth for safety, who are folks with disabilities, who are people of color. So pretty much folks who have intersectional identities that make it more difficult for them to have access to the life-saving, gender-affirming products and care that the majority of the privileged world, such as myself, had access to. I have made those programmings for those folks. So if you are someone who you think you are eligible, or you want to know if you're eligible, or you are looking for a button-down shirt or a bikini top or like, what are they called? Swim trunks or a binder or whatever it may be, please check out my website, because I put all of these programs in together so that like folks who are looking for tucking wear, unfortunately, I don't have any of that currently available, but that's definitely something I can look into. I am able to support and uplift our community to have those life-saving experiences and products, because everyone deserves to be their most authentic self. So if you are someone who wants access to those things, DM me, look at my website, it's all there.
Awesome. And Maddie just got back. It is code Natasha for Unclockable, unclockable.com. That code will get you $5 off, plus you also already get free shipping, so yay.
Go.
But yeah, please check out Unclockable, check out Lex's stuff. I mean, there's so much out there for you. And by no means are we bashing surgery at all. Obviously we aren't, because
as someone who's
had surgery. We're just saying that there are options out there besides surgery. You don't have to do it. If you want to do it, if that's the way you want to go, awesome. We are here to support you 100%. I know myself and Lex will do everything we can to help you, but yeah, there's more than just one way to go about this, and that's what I really wanted to get across.
Yes. And then the last thing I do want to say real quick before we bounce to another topic was the fact that we had to create our own paths, right? Like there wasn't like this roadmap. There wasn't like, oh, like here are the steps that you take in your social, medical, legal, blah, blah, blah transition. Which, although there is some, I don't like anything that I'm saying right now, because it's like, I feel like it's affirming that there's like one way to do it, but there really is. But for the purpose of what I'm trying to say, even my hair hates me right now. It's like, get away from me. It's like, but for what I'm trying to say is that commonly when I see trans masc folks, more likely than not, there are more binary trans masc folks, meaning folks who were assigned female at birth, who now identify as male and men, so trans men. And there is a more clear kind of like road path or idea of like what a trans man looks like. This idea that like you get top surgery, you take T, you present yourself masculinely, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I agree with any of this, but that is the narrative, in the same sense that, oh, like if you were someone who was assigned male at birth, but you know that you're trans femme and you identify as a woman, then like, oh, like facial feminization, or you take these blockers and you take these pills and like there are, whether we like it or not, there are different paths in medical transitioning or socially transitioning or legally transitioning for folks who align within the binary. And so I found as someone who, like, I'm not a man. Like, I am not male, but I'm masculine. So all of these people who are men and trans male are doing these things. Do I have access to those things as someone who is not male, who is not a man? Is it valid for me to want to have top surgery if I'm not a man? So like all of those questions and these ideas that there wasn't a roadmap, there wasn't a clear path for me, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to find out what it is for myself. And even though I have people telling me like, oh, like, what if you're going to want your chest back? Or like, what if you regret da-da-da-da-da? I can only regret something that I've done if it's wrong for me. We're not there yet. Like, do not try and deter me. I need to find my path. I'm going to create what's right for me. And now I'm in a space where I was like, oh, thank God it was right. Thank God. I am so happy. Because like you were saying, now we've started to pave a path that is non-normative, that shows gender fluid people that you don't have to do this or that you don't have to present this way or choose this form of representation, or for non-binary trans masc people, like if you want medicalization, valid, you deserve to feel at home in your body. You deserve to feel, to every time you walk past the mirror, be like, oh, who's that bitch? Like you deserve that feeling. So that's all I wanted to say. So the fact that you think I'm paving paths makes me feel so happy, because that's what I said out here to do.
You are. But even on that, trans is the big umbrella. There is more to trans than just trans woman, trans man. There are so many more things. Non-binary, gender fluid, all of these stuff, they fit under the trans umbrella. And that's because you're transitioning to your better self. You're not necessarily transitioning to female or transitioning to male. You are transitioning to you. That is what matters. Chills.
That was everything. Okay, so you could have cut me off at like the 25-minute mark of my rant and just said transitioning is finding your better self. That was like all we needed.
I got to let you talk. You're so much fun to just listen to. Okay, game time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we only have a little less than 10 minutes.
I'm ready.
Okay. So, would you rather be fully covered in fur or fully covered in scales?
Oh. Ooh. Fur. Oh, I don't know. I think I regret that, but no, because I'm a cat. So like, I feel like fur is
There
just,
you
like,
go.
the natural, you know.
You are a cat. That's
I'm
perfect
surrounded by
definition.
3 of my cats right now.
Yeah,
So.
you are a cat. Would you rather live in a tree house or in a cave?
Tree house. Oh my God, that's literally my dream.
Okay. Would you rather be lost in the woods or lost in a bad part of town?
Oh, the woods. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that would just happen to me if I was trying to hike anyway, so.
All right. Would you rather lose the ability to read or to speak?
Ooh. I'm going to say read. I'm a very talkative person.
Yes, you are. Would you rather have to give up search engines like Google or give up social media?
Social media. I need to have my knowledge.
How did this world ever exist without Google? I don't understand.
Really?
I'm what? I think I'm 5 years older than you. You said you're 23, so yeah, 5 years older than you. And like, I remember in school not having Google and being like, how did I do that?
You legitimately have to go into an encyclopedia.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd probably
Wow.
like the last little bit of generation that actually used an encyclopedia for more than just like using it as a doorstop. Would you rather be a reverse mermaid or a reverse centaur?
What's a reverse mermaid?
Fish head, human body.
Oh.
Or a reverse centaur, horse head, human body.
Both are quite unpleasant. Wait. Oh, see, the human body is like the worst part. Obviously, I want to have an animal body in my human head. Okay, I'm gonna say horse head. They have such
BoJack
beautiful
Horseman,
noses.
huh?
Such beautiful noses. I love horse noses. They're so cute.
Okay, that's the first time I've ever heard that, but okay, I'll take it. And last one. Would you rather that every time you have a serious conversation, you have to fart loudly or burp after every kiss?
Oh, Lord. Burp after every kiss. Because I have so many intense conversations, and, like, I don't think my booty could handle all that. Like...
Just think about how many times you've been farting loudly during our conversation here.
I know, right? You wouldn't be able to hear me.
That's hilarious. Okay. I love ending on that one. That's always a fun one. Okay. So, once again, thank you, Lex. I'm so glad we could do a part 1, part 2 with you because you have so much to share, and your life, your journey has been so incredible, and the path you are paving still is one that so many people are going to be following. You've blazed this trail so well that generations of people behind you are going to be able to follow in your footsteps and become who they were always meant to be because of you. So thank you for everything that you are doing. It is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so
Don't
much for your
cry.
kindness. I am definitely going to cry once it's happening. I can feel it. The mechanisms are working in my eyes. Thank you so much, Natasha. I always love chatting with you. We always just hit so many very important things. And
It just
thank you for
works
sharing yourself
perfectly.
with me.
Oh, of course.
I appreciate you
Of
so much.
course. Well, unfortunately, that's time, so we do have to go. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in on this impromptu one today. I'm sorry if you are watching on replay and you like tuned in at 9 o'clock, 8:30, whatever we scheduled it for, and you're like, where in the world are Lex and Tasha? Well, sorry, that was on me. You can like message me and be like, you bitch, if you want to. I'll understand. So thank you so
Always a
much for
pleasure.
tuning in. And once again, check out Lex's gender, what'd you say it was? Gender affirming?
Yes, gender affirming programs.
Yes.
On my website, my website is my name, www.lexhorwitz.com. Speaking of which, I'm just going to make it a comment real quick before we end. That way folks can put that in the nice little Google search.
Perfect. Absolutely
there
perfect.
We go.
Check out that website for gender affirming wear of all types, and as well, unclockable. Check out that. Use the code Natasha to get a discount. Please do. It really doesn't do anything for me. I just want you to save some money.
Yes.
So thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in. I'll see you later. Toodles.
Bye.